Hello YouTube. I just passed the anniversary of 1 year ownership on my Ryker 900 Ace. It's a 2019 model. So I thought it would be timely to make a video explaining how I came to buy a Ryker and also to give my thoughts on my 1 year ownership experience. I bought my 2019 Ryker 900 Ace in the spring of 2020. I didn't start out to buy a three-wheeled motorcycle. In fact, in March of 2020, I didn't even know that the Ryker existed. I was turning 69 in 2020, so at the start of the year I decided that I wanted to get another motorcycle before I got too old to ride. It had been over 30 years since I had my last bike. It was a Virago 1100, but I was confident that I wouldn't have any problem riding again. My family was understandably concerned that with my age and the length of time that it had been since I last rode a motorcycle, that I should probably take a motorcycle rider refresher course. I agreed and enrolled in one, but unfortunately it was cancelled due to COVID. I wasn't going to let that stop me from getting a bike though, so I went ahead and I bought a beautiful 2017 Moto Guzzi V73 Special. Here's a picture of it. This is a stock photo, but mine looked just like that. The Moto Guzzi really appealed to my love of the classic style bikes from my youth. It was sort of the Triumph of Bonneville that I always wanted, but I never really could afford to buy. Well, it turns out that my family's concerns about my ability to ride a motorcycle were valid. On my first ride on the Moto Guzzi, it became really clear to me that I could no longer safely ride a two-wheeled motorcycle. I just didn't have the strength anymore. Boy, who knew that 35 years could make such a difference? At this point, I was pretty depressed. I figured that I had waited too long and that I would never be able to ride a motorcycle again. After moping around for several days, it occurred to me that maybe three wheels would be viable. So I hit YouTube up and started to watch all the videos that I could to see what three-wheel options were available. It was while watching a video on the Spider that I first saw a Ryker. I still had the Moto Guzzi, and as we were in a full-blown COVID lockdown, it wasn't a good time to sell it. I probably would have bought a Spider if I didn't have a chunk of cash tied up in the Guzzi. My first impressions of the Ryker was that it was like a three-wheeled go-kart. I was impressed with the Spider F3T that the dealer had in stock, but it was too expensive. On the other hand, I could afford the Ryker, and it did look like fun. Unlike what appears to have been the case in other countries, my dealer had a large selection of all Ryker models in stock, both 2019 and 2020 model years. I decided to go with the 2019 because there was a small discount for the previous year's model. Why did I choose the 900 Ace? I picked the 900 over the 600 just because I've always been a person who buys the bigger motor whenever it's available. When I took my three-wheel training course, they had me riding a 600 model, and I have to say I was probably wrong about the difference between the 900 and the 600. I found the 600 to be just fine, and it would have been just perfect for my riding style. The main reasons that I chose the 900 Ace over the Rally were the price and the rear fender. I really wanted the full rear fender that the Ace has versus the shorty fender that comes on the Rally. From what I'd seen on YouTube, it was pretty difficult to put that Ace fender on the Rally model. That and the couple of $1,000s difference in price really influenced my decision. I'm very happy with the rear fender choice, but since I got my bike, I've probably added a lot of the Rally's extra features by way of extra mods, so the price differential doesn't really exist anymore. So on May 14th, 2020, I picked up my brand new 2019 Ryker 900 Ace with 0 kilometers on it, and I decided to lend my Moto Guzzi to my son so that he could ride it for the year. That worked out really well as we were able to go on lots of joint rides last year, but at the end of the 2020 riding season, I put the bike up for sale at a consignment motorcycle shop, and they sold it for me in the spring of this year. It's nice to get that motorcycle money back, and I've been applying a bunch of it towards my Ryker in 2021 to add even more mods. One of the first things I want to say about the Ryker is I really like it. If it wasn't for the Ryker, I wouldn't have discovered beautiful spots like this in my own backyard. Driving around the rural roads, seeing all the neat water features and beautiful rural subdivisions is just a great way to spend some time. I definitely wouldn't be doing this if I only had a car. So I'll start out with some of the things that I think that BRP is missing out when they're selling the base model of the Ryker. First of all, after seeing all the complaints about rust in the wheel hubs, I definitely think that some sort of wheel cap should be standard. I mean, the caps that I've got in there, I've got decals on that I customized, but they were just plastic plugs, and they cost me $2 each. Come on, Can-Am, why can't you put something like that on there? Also, they have a part that is, I'm not sure you can see it, maybe this side is brighter. It's the inner wheel hub, I think they call it, or cap. I mean, it's a cheap part. I think it was less than $10 or something, around $10 for the two of them, one on either side of the front inner wheels, and all of the brackets to just clip it in place are already there. So why not add it on there? I mean, it helps the longevity of the front end. Also, some sort of radiator protection should be standard on the 900 and the 600. It comes on the Rally. Why not put it on the other two models? I mean, we're susceptible to getting rock chips just like the Rally. So, you know, a damaged radiator, very expensive repair. Why isn't some sort of radiator protection mounted on the bike? And then there's the parking lock. I had to pay extra to have it installed, yet the print on the plastic is there where it gets installed. It's a cheap part. I'd be willing to pay an extra $20 for my bike if it was standard. And then when I got my bike, it didn't have any gas cap on it, so I ordered from Sling Mods a locking gas cap. I understand that the new Rally models now come with a non-locking gas cap, but a gas cap should be on all bikes. Anything that you're going to be driving on the road to deter garbage from getting into your fuel line. The max mount is an accessory that you pay for if you're going to put on extra luggage racks or a passenger seat. And you know, if you don't want it, you don't have to pay for it. I went with more luggage. The side bag is a good size, but when I'm out with all my camera gear and my tools and rain gear and all that stuff, the side bag wasn't enough. So I wanted something that I could put my helmet in when I was not riding the bike. So this Shad SH33 does the trick. It fits a full face helmet. It's waterproof and it's lockable. And it locks to the bike, so it can't be easily removed. That's one thing that I have against the BRP or Can-Am accessories is they're also easy to steal. There's no locking on there anywhere. They say in their brochures that they advertise it as a plus, that it has a 1 second easily install and remove toolless way of putting it on and off, but in my mind that's just another way of saying easy to steal. So they're lacking in having a hard case as an option. I think they should add that. And then on all the accessories they have for the Ryker to go on the max mount, they should be lockable somehow. I know my backrest is not locked on. It can easily be removed with just a simple press of a button. So it needs some sort of adapter on there. Put a little bolt or something to at least make it harder to remove. Now, as far as the accessories go, I've obviously added quite a few things to my handlebars. I put a second set of rear view mirrors. I put the hand guards and the hand deflectors. But I really like those. They really help when driving in colder weather, and as you know, it keeps the bugs off your gloves. I added the Sling Mods has concave covers for the stock mirrors. I added those. So I've got the concave mirror on the bar end mirrors, and then I've got regular view rear view mirrors. And I found with my eyesight I just couldn't judge traffic behind me with just the bar end mirrors. So I really appreciate having these second set. I did in a previous video talk about the Adventure windshield. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's an improvement over the Sport windshield that I had to start. Oh, kudos to Can-Am for the adjustability of the riding position on the Ryker, with the handlebars able to move forward and back, and same with the foot pegs. It's a real plus to get it fitted just the way that you feel comfortable. I'm 5'8½", and I feel really comfortable riding the Ryker. The stock seat, which I still have, I haven't had any issues with it. I mean, I feel a lot more discomfort just sitting in front of my home computer for an hour and a half than I do riding the Ryker. I bought an Airhawk cushion to put on there, but I haven't found a need for it yet. I guess if I ever go out on a longer ride, like over 2 hours, then I'll put it on. But up to now, with 2-hour rides, there are no issue. One of the things that I immediately went to replace is the stock horn. The stock horn is pathetic for a vehicle that already has challenges being visible on the road. A horn that was so weak on the original just wasn't enough. So I bought the Wolo Loud One horn, and when I installed it, the only way I could get it to fit is the flute of the horn was facing up. Now, to stop water from getting inside the horn, I've just put a piece of plastic over there and duct taped it in place in order to keep water out. It muffled the horn a little bit, but it still is quite loud. I'll give you a listen to it. So that's a lot louder than the original horn. Another mod I added was the Sling Mods third brake light and the Sling Mods brake flasher kit. The rear view visibility was one of the first things that struck me when I looked at the Ryker. I thought, wow, that's no more visible than a go-kart on the road. So I'm looking for ways to try to make it more visible from the rear. It's a bonus I got from adding the top case, I think, is that it does give it more presence on the road. But I'll give you just a quick look here. I'll do an insert of the brake lights, the way they work. For those of you that are interested, this shad top case, I bought mine on Amazon. It's quite reasonably priced for what it is. Definitely it's cheaper than the side bag. It has a back pad, which I use this backrest, but this I can lean my shoulders against. You have some adjustment when you mount it on the max mount when using the brackets that come with the case. It's got a lot of room inside. And is fairly easily removed once it's unlocked. It's got a key at the back. Unfortunately, it's a different key from the other shad case. So the case easily lifts off, and it reveals here the plastic mounting bracket right here that comes with the case. Underneath this little pad here, there's it shows that it's a honeycomb pattern, so you can space the bolts. It's mounted with 3 bolts that sort of hook underneath the max mount. I'm at some point going to get some special, I don't know where my camera is showing. This is the type of bracket that comes with the shad case. So it does clip on. I'm going to get some special brackets made that are a little bit more substantial, so I can really tighten it down. But for now it holds on really well. And I didn't have to buy any extra accessories. The case came with all of that. So I haven't got a lot of kilometers on my Ryker. It's just about 3,500 kilometers. I have had, like I said, I've had it about 1 year today, or this month. But there's nowhere to ride. Ever since I bought it, we've been in some form of COVID lockdown. You know, and there's a lot of my rides are just going out in the country, just like I am today. As far as destination rides, most places are closed when you get there. So hopefully a few more months we'll be able to actually drive to someplace, and then I expect to be able to put longer trips on and finish the year with more kilometers for the year than I did last year. I'm enjoying it. It's just a great way to get out in the outdoors and get some fresh air and get away from all the stress of everything we're facing these days. I think for the price, it's a great vehicle. Of course, the base price is just the starting point. It seems to be never ending, the accessories that you want to put on it. I'm waiting on some tough skin decals from Sling Mods, and I still plan on perhaps upgrading the headlights. I've still got the stock halogen lights. I'm going to get floorboards, I think. I have already upgraded the sway bar to the Can-Am 33% stiffer sway bar. Haven't done the end links yet, but I'll probably do that this year. I don't really feel the need for it because the sway bar made a huge difference for me. I'm quite pleased with the way it tracks straight now. But I've heard that the end links do make a difference, so for the price and for the ease of installation, I figure I might as well do it. But then I think I'll be happy with it. Just looking forward to getting more miles on it this year. Oh, one other thing. During the walk around, I forgot to mention one of the more recent additions to my Ryker, and that is the BRP metal skid plate. I had the dealer install this, and it mounts to the bottom of the bike. I felt that this was worthwhile as it protects the delicate underbelly of the Ryker from road debris. To me, the Ryker is like a fountain of youth. When I'm riding it, I don't feel like a 70-year-old anymore. It takes me back to how I felt when I was riding my Virago back in my mid-30s. I'm really liking this bike, and I'm looking forward to enjoying this feeling for as long as I can.